On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport. It was a routine departure, with the plane lifting off smoothly into the night sky, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of its passengers. The Boeing 777 was headed for Beijing, China. This aircraft, known for its reliability and advanced technology, was expected to complete the journey without incident. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew members, representing 15 nationalities. Each passenger had their own story, their own reason for being on that flight, from business trips to family reunions. The flight was under the command of Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, a veteran pilot with thousands of flight hours. His experience and calm demeanor were reassuring to all who flew with him. The first leg of the journey proceeded routinely, with no indication of any problems. Passengers settled into their seats, some watching movies, others drifting off to sleep, unaware of the fate that awaited them. However, less than an hour into the flight, MH370 vanished from radar screens, marking the beginning of one of aviation's most baffling mysteries. Air traffic controllers were left in disbelief as the blip representing the plane simply disappeared. The disappearance of MH370 sent shockwaves around the world. News outlets scrambled to cover the story, and people everywhere were glued to their screens, hoping for updates. It quickly became clear that this was no ordinary aviation incident. Experts began to speculate on what could have caused such a sudden and complete disappearance. The lack of any distress call or immediate wreckage only deepened the mystery. Search and rescue teams were mobilized, scouring vast areas of ocean in a desperate bid to find any trace of the missing aircraft. Families of the passengers and crew were left in agonizing uncertainty, clinging to hope while grappling with the growing possibility of a tragic outcome. Airports became makeshift centers of grief and support as loved ones waited for news that never came. The world watched and waited for answers. But as days turned into weeks, the mystery of MH370 only grew more profound. Theories abounded, from mechanical failure to more sinister possibilities, but none provided the closure that was so desperately needed. The disappearance of MH370 highlighted the complexities of modern aviation and the limitations of tracking technology. Despite advances in technology, the vastness of the ocean and the limitations of radar left many questions unanswered. It underscored the vulnerability we feel when confronted with the vastness of the open ocean and the depths of the unknown. The search area was immense, and the ocean's depths held their secrets tightly. The search for MH370 would become a testament to human ingenuity and determination, as well as a stark reminder of the capricious nature of fate. Teams from around the world joined forces, using the latest technology and their collective expertise. But the ocean remained an enigmatic adversary. Memorials were erected and the world mourned, but the questions lingered, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the mysteries that still elude us. MH370's departure from Kuala Lumpur followed standard procedures. The aircraft, a Boeing 777-200ER, was scheduled to fly to Beijing, China, carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew members. The weather was clear and the flight crew was experienced, making it a routine journey for Malaysia Airlines. The flight path was routine, taking the aircraft over the Gulf of Thailand and into Vietnamese airspace. This route was well-traveled and familiar to the airline, with no anticipated issues. Air traffic control in Kuala Lumpur last made contact with the flight crew at 1:19 a.m. local time. Everything seemed normal. The crew reported that they were cruising at an altitude of 35,000 feet, and there were no signs of trouble. Just minutes later, at 1:21 a.m., MH370's transponder signal disappeared from radar screens. This sudden loss of signal was unexpected and puzzling. This was unusual, but not necessarily a cause for immediate alarm. Transponder signals can be lost due to technical issues or interference. Transponders, while crucial for air traffic control, can malfunction or be intentionally switched off. Pilots have the ability to turn off the transponder in certain situations, such as to reset the system or in the event of an emergency. However, the situation quickly became more concerning. The aircraft failed to reappear on radar, and there was no communication from the flight crew. MH370 did not make its scheduled radio contact with Vietnamese air traffic control. This missed communication raised red flags among aviation authorities. Instead of continuing on its planned route towards Beijing, the aircraft had deviated sharply westward. This unexpected turn was highly irregular and suggested that the flight was no longer under normal control. Military radar data later revealed that MH370 had turned back across the Malay Peninsula and then flown south over the Strait of Malacca. This new flight path was baffling and raised many questions about the intentions and condition of the aircraft. This unexpected change in course, combined with the lack of communication, strongly suggested that something was amiss. The deviation was not a minor adjustment, but a significant alteration of the flight path. The deviation from the planned flight path raised numerous questions. Investigators began to consider various scenarios, including hijacking, pilot suicide, and mechanical failure. Was it a deliberate action by the pilots or a result of some unforeseen event? The lack of clear evidence made it difficult to draw definitive conclusions. The lack of a distress signal further complicated the situation. In most emergencies, pilots are trained to communicate with air traffic control. But in this case, there was complete silence. Had the crew been incapacitated? This possibility led to speculation about a sudden and catastrophic event that left the crew unable to respond. Was the aircraft experiencing a catastrophic failure that prevented communication? Mechanical failure, although rare, could explain the sudden loss of contact and deviation from the flight path. The mystery of MH370's deviation became central to the investigation, fueling speculation and prompting a search for answers across a vast and unforgiving expanse of ocean. The search efforts spanned multiple countries and involved advanced technology, yet the exact cause of the deviation remains one of aviation's greatest mysteries. The initial search for MH370 focused on the area where the aircraft last made contact with air traffic control, the Gulf of Thailand. This region, known for its busy air traffic and bustling maritime activities, became the epicenter of a massive search operation. The urgency was palpable as authorities scrambled to piece together the puzzle of the missing aircraft. Search and rescue teams from multiple countries, including Malaysia, Vietnam, and China, scoured the waters. These teams, equipped with state-of-the-art technology and driven by a sense of duty, worked tirelessly around the clock. The collaboration between nations showcased a unified effort to solve the mystery and bring closure to the families of the passengers. Ships and aircraft meticulously combed the area, looking for any sign of wreckage or debris. The search formations were precise, and every inch of the designated area was scrutinized. The hope was to find even the smallest clue that could lead to the discovery of the aircraft's whereabouts. However, days turned into weeks, and the search yielded no significant findings. The frustration among the search teams grew as the vast ocean seemed to swallow any trace of the missing plane. The relentless effort, though commendable, began to take a toll on the morale of those involved. As the search continued, the focus shifted based on analysis of radar data and satellite communications. Experts in aviation and satellite technology were brought in to provide insights that could refine the search parameters. The data analysis became a crucial component in understanding the possible flight path of MH370. It became clear that MH370 had flown for several hours after its last radar contact. This revelation was both astonishing and perplexing, as it suggested that the aircraft had deviated significantly from its intended route. The extended flight time opened up new possibilities and theories about what might have happened. By analyzing faint pings sent from the aircraft's engines to a satellite, investigators were able to estimate the plane's likely flight path. These pings, though weak and intermittent, provided a lifeline in the search effort. The technology used to interpret these signals was cutting edge, and the expertise of the analysts was paramount in narrowing down the search area. This analysis led them to a remote area of the southern Indian Ocean, thousands of miles from the initial search zone. The shift in focus was a monumental decision, as it meant redirecting resources and efforts to a new, even more challenging location. The southern Indian Ocean, known for its depth and remoteness, posed a new set of difficulties. The shift to the southern Indian Ocean dramatically expanded the search area, making an already daunting task even more challenging. The vastness of the ocean, combined with the limited information available, made the search akin to finding a needle in a haystack. The coordination required to manage such a large-scale operation was immense. The remoteness of the location, coupled with the vastness of the ocean and its unpredictable weather patterns, presented significant obstacles. The search teams had to contend with rough seas, strong currents, and frequent storms, all of which hampered their efforts. The harsh conditions tested the resilience and determination of everyone involved. Despite the challenges, the search continued, driven by a combination of hope, determination, and the need to provide answers to the families of those on board MH370. The emotional toll on the families was immense, and their unwavering hope served as a powerful motivator for the search teams. The human element of the tragedy was never far from the minds of those involved in the search. The search for MH370 became one of the most extensive and expensive in aviation history. The resources deployed, the international cooperation, and the sheer scale of the operation were unprecedented. The quest to find MH370 was not just about solving a mystery. It was about honoring the lives lost and providing closure to their loved ones.